James Cameron is a Canadian film director, producer, and screenwriter. He is best known for directing Titanic, 1997, and Avatar, 2009, which are also among the highest-grossing films. He has also directed and produced several other successful films, including The Terminator, 1984, Aliens, 1986, and The Abyss, 1989. He is known for his innovative and use of special effects and commitment to environmentalism. His movie in 2022, Avatar: The Way of Water, has grossed over $1 billion since it was released in cinemas. Do you think James Cameron can complete the Avatar story? Starting us off, can James Cameron complete the Avatar trilogy? James Cameron, the writer and director of Avatar, is confident that he can complete the Avatar saga following the strong performance of The Way of Water, which has grossed over $1.7 billion at the box office. He stated that he would soon discuss with Disney that plans for the next Avatar movie, which is already filmed and in post-production. The next movie, Avatar 3, is scheduled for release in December 2024, and if it performs well, it will secure the release of a fourth and fifth movie, which have already been scripted and partially filmed. Cameron has stated that they have begun a franchise and a saga that can now play out over multiple films. He estimates that he will be working on the franchise for the next 6 or 7 years, with the fifth movie potentially being released in 2030. It looks like I can't get out of this. I'm going to have to do these additional sequels, said Cameron. Just with the film's momentum now, we'll easily pass our break even in the next few days. He said that he would shortly speak with Disney executives about what will happen after Avatar 3, which has already been shot and is currently undergoing post-production. At this point, we've started a franchise, Cameron remarked. We've started a story that might now span several movies. According to the filmmaker, James Cameron's sloppily estimated timeline, I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 or 7 years, he remarked. We'll see Avatar 5 just in time to ring in 2030. Up next, how expensive is it to make The Way of Water? The highest grossing movie of all time is still the original Avatar. The otter-driven blockbuster of the 1980s and 1990s and the cutting-edge extravaganza of the new millennium were united in this 2009 release, breaking box office records. It's in the saga's genetic makeup to be a juggernaut. However, even if The Way of Water never tops its predecessor, there's still enough in the tank for Cameron and his producers to create a third Avatar, and perhaps by then, they'll discover the deposits needed to finance the fourth and fifth. The latest Avatar, The Way of Water, is in theaters. Experts predict that The Way of Water could have been made on a budget of $350 to $460 million. The movie has been a success from the start, and it looks like it will keep making money until the next month. There are often no major theatrical releases in January. According to a recent report, the movie might earn more than $2.5 billion at the box office when it leaves theaters. According to a Screen Rant assessment, the movie will fetch 20th Century Fox/Disney $2.6 billion, behind Spider-Man No Way Home's $1.9 billion. Avatar: The Way of Water currently holds the 7th spot among the top 10 highest-grossing films. With $2.92 billion worldwide box office receipts, including re-releases, the original Avatar is still the most successful film ever made. Avatar: The Way of Water had to make a lot of money because of its estimated $350 to $460 million budget, but it has surpassed even the most optimistic pundits. So, does James Cameron have a secret for his high-grossing movies? What is James Cameron's $1 billion secret? The real James Cameron? Critics accuse him of being out of touch, but with the success of his Avatar sequel, he may soon own 3 of the top 4 grossing movies ever. Fans and industry professionals describe how he draws such sizable crowds. When James Cameron proclaimed himself the king of the world after Titanic won the Best Director Oscar in 1998, he may have been onto something. He has held the top rank at the global box office for almost 25 years due to the 1997 film Titanic and the 2009 film Avatar, which have combined box office receipts of more than $5 billion, £4.1 billion. In just 3 weeks, his most recent movie, Avatar: The Way of Water, entered the top 10 of all-time films and became the 6th movie to earn $1 billion. Currently highly ranked ranked is Titanic and the first Avatar. If it surpasses Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Cameron would have the 3rd or 4th highest grossing movies ever. However, before each of his last 4 movies, all rumored to be the most expensive movies ever made, was even released, Cameron had all but been written off. Commentators argued that he was expensive, overly ambitious, and out of touch. As The Way of Water's release date drew near, critics on Twitter asked him to name 3 characters, and the Titanic speech was used against him, while Avatar's success was explained away as the product of a briefcase of craziness that struck viewers. Next up, is James Cameron among the greatest filmmakers of all time? Cameron frequently doesn't make it onto Cinesta's list of great movies and directors. He isn't listed in the most recent Sight and Sound 100 Greatest Film Survey, and Titanic's ranking of 83 in 2008 American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Movies list was the only way he managed to get on the list. Nobody appears to know what makes his films such extraordinary successes, least of all in Hollywood. Success on Cameron's level differs from that of other blockbusters. There are few individuals dressed as Na'vi aliens from Avatar or in Titanic t-shirts for Halloween, and the cost of the blue body paint isn't the only determinant. The cultural footprint is unlike that of Harry Potter or Marvel films. However, that does not imply that it is non-existent. The difference is that fans of Cameron, or more specifically fans of each films, do not engage in online debates about Batman or conjecture about Doctor Strange cameos. Instead, you can find a lively community studying the Na'vi constructed language at learnnavi.org. The language, developed at the University of Southern California by Dr. Paul Frommer, who continues to monitor changes, includes more than 5,000 words, including derivatives, making it possible to compose poetry and music. The site's administrator, Mark Miller, a network engineer and special effects developer, claims that some visitors only come for educational exercise, but the majority of people attend because they are enthralled with the movie. Although we cannot visit Pandora, the Na'vi home planet, why not try to engage in the parts that we can as fans? They merely want to feel a little more a part of that environment. They are not necessarily super fans or extremely nerdy. Annual gatherings took place for the first 6 or 7 years following the debut of Avatar, just as they did for treeofsouls.net, or a more broad Avatar fan site, but they dwindled when no anticipated sequel appeared in 2014 or 2015. And other related news, how addicted are the fan base of James Cameron? Some supporters went even further. The nickname Mr. Avatar was given to Edmonton, Canada carpenter Raymond Knowles roughly 6 years ago when he covered 95% of his body in tattoos inspired by the video game. Knowles, who has 4 tattoos of Neytiri, the protagonist of Zoe Saldana's film Avatar, believes that getting and maintaining his body art has cost him $35,000 Canadian, £21,500, plus another $25,000 for Avatar art on his truck. Knowles, a lifetime admirer of Cameron, watched the movie with his daughter on opening night. I was genuinely amazed. Barely spoke a word. Every emotion was expressed, including tears and laughter. He returned 8 times in 2 weeks after discovering that the movie had altered his outlook on life. According to Knowles, there were so many parallels to our planet, the message of ecology, and how Cameron discusses the idea of the common person becoming a hero. Neytiri immediately remained at my side. She served as Pandora's entryway. That has essentially been the case from the beginning. Not that I'd call it love. Obsessed? Yes, possibly. Finally, the impact of Titanic of fans even years after release. Life was also altered by Titanic. The location of the Titanic's SOS call, the movie's VHS tape, and the heart of the Queen Diamond mentioned in the plot are all tattooed on viewers. Fans have made scale models of the ship, went to Titanic museums worldwide, Belfast, where the ship was built, nicknamed an entire city the Titanic Quarter, and planned real events around the film. A freelance journalist named Jess Chapman wed in the Olympic restaurant at the White Swan in Alnwick, Northumberland. a location decorated with paneling, glass, and a ceiling that formerly adorned the Olympic, the Titanic sister ship. When I was 9 or 10, I watched Titanic and soon developed an obsession. We would act it out. I would play Rose, my older sister, Jack, and my younger sister, who would portray Bill Zane's evil character, Cal. A curiosity with the movie developed into one with the wreck's past and the era of ocean liners. Chapman chose her wedding location before getting engaged. Fortunately, her spouse was accommodating. It's the ideal movie, she declares. The commitment to the realism is what I appreciate most. But I also appreciate James Cameron's silly action shtick. It has brought me more happiness than anything else in my life, along with the enthusiasm it sparked. The Los Angeles-based comedian and author Caitlin Durante grew up watching the movie at least once a day throughout the summers. She has several Titanic Inc. She explains that some films are feature-length historical romantic dramas and others are feature-length disaster films. The Titanic remarked, "Why not both? Brave, subversive, and legendary." Unfortunately, guys, that is all the time we have today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, cheers!